Hey guys, welcome back. I have just got back from the gym and I am prepping for tonight's dinner. We are having tacos, so I'm gonna make some homemade sourdough tortillas. I'm gonna start off with my sourdough starter. So I'm just gonna take a half cup of my sourdough starter. It is looking nice and bubbly and delicious. And I'm gonna add that in there. Next, I'm going in with a third cup of just cool water. And I like to add these two ingredients first so that I can really properly saturate the sourdough starter in the water here so that it mixes really well with all of the other ingredients. So once I've got this mixed together, I'm going to go on to my next ingredient, which is olive oil. So I'm just going to take a fourth cup of olive oil and just using traditional regular extra virgin olive oil, nothing fancy here. And that is going to help to just make an even smoother consistency into this mix so we can get some nice flat tortillas when it comes cooking time. Once I've added that in there, I'm going to add in salt as well as garlic powder. So just roughly estimating about a half teaspoon of salt and about a half teaspoon of garlic powder to add a little bit of extra flavor in these tortillas as well. Now I'm going to go in with 1 2/3 cups of just all-purpose flour. And I'm going to mix this together until it is nice and mixed. It might still seem a little bit dry, but that's just because our flour needs some time to saturate with all those liquids. So what I'm going to do here is just mix everything together. And then as I mentioned, it's early in the day, so I'm going to get a damp towel on this once it's all mixed together and throw it in the fridge until it is time to cook our dinner. I have let that sit in the fridge for the entire day, and I am now getting ready to prep my dinner. So you'll see that my dough is really well saturated now, and I'm gonna take some time just to knead this a little bit while my cast iron skillet is preheating, just to make sure that everything is nice and doughy and ready to be rolled out. So I'm going to take a few minutes and get the stress of the day out into this dough and just knead it up until it feels like it's a really nice bouncy consistency and that everything is perfectly spread throughout the entire dough mix. I'm now going to go in and just flatten this dough out as much as possible. Of course, we are hoping to get it paper thin by the time we are throwing it into this skillet. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my hands to push this down as far as possible before I go ahead and separate it out using my dough slicer here. So I typically separate it out into halves and then into fourths, and then just kind of depending on the size and the amount of dough that I've created, try to make just what I call bite-sized pieces. So the size of a mini scone just about, and then I'll cut those into smaller pieces if I know I want smaller tortillas, or if I'm planning to make something like enchiladas or burritos and I know I want them to be quite large, then I'll just keep it at this scone size. But since we're doing a big family dinner, I'm going to cut these up into more bite-sized pieces so that we've got smaller tortillas to use. Now that we've got our dough separated into the pieces that we will actually roll out, I'm going to go ahead and get a floured surface. And I do go ahead and start to flatten it out a little bit with my palms. I just find that this makes it a little bit easier to get into a round shape using the rolling pin if I flattened it out a little bit first. Of course, you can use a tortilla press, or if you want to roll it out and then take a pizza cutter, or if you have a large enough type of cookie cutter that you can make a tortilla shape, you can do so as well if you're interested in getting more of a perfect round shape. I honestly just love the authenticity of them being different shapes. I feel like since I'm taking the time to make it homemade, I love that it truly looks homemade when I'm presenting it as well. But of course, depending on if you're feeding for a party or you need it to be a little bit more presentable, you can definitely make it more of a perfect tortilla shape. But I kind of like my tortillas to be more like snowflakes. Everyone looks a little bit different, and that just kind of makes me feel even more proud about the work that I put into homemaking them. So once I get this as flat as possible and I'm on a nice medium heat for my cast iron skillet, I like to spray just a little bit of olive oil onto my skillet as well before I actually throw mine on there. But it's about time to cook, which is of course the most exciting part of this process. So I'll go ahead and throw my tortilla onto here, and like I said, I have this on a medium heat. We're going to want to stay here until we get quite a few bubbles all the way throughout, and then you can go ahead and give a flip. As you can see, this one wasn't totally cooked all the way through, but we'll just flip it a few more times until it has those nice brown dots on there that we want to see from getting a nice char. Now that this one is complete, I'm going to add this to my stack and go through with cooking the rest here. You can see how they all look different, but they are turning out just beautifully golden, and I am so excited to put this together with our dinner this evening. And there you have it, same day sourdough tortillas. If you liked this recipe, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my page. Thanks so much. Have a great day.